Hey everybody, welcome to the Wealth Advisory's Top Stocks to Own for January 2024 because we're starting a new year soon. Actually, when you're watching this, we'll have already started a new year because we're going to be releasing this on the first trading day of 2024. I keep saying we, and as you have obviously noticed, I do not have my partner, Jason Simpkins, with me today. He's on vacation and I decided not to force him to do a video call from Florida and to let him enjoy his vacation. So hopefully you guys can get by with just me this week. But, I like to refer to myself in the plural anyway, the royal we. So we'll go ahead and continue with the we's. We had a great month last month. I mean, the markets did great. They're finishing 2023 on fire. As I'm recording this on December 29th, last Friday for you guys. You see the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and the Dow are all up between 4.5% and 6.5%, only being outdone by the Wealth Advisory's top 10 from last month. We had we're looking at right now about a 7.6% gain. We'll see how that changes by the time we update the list on the 2nd, but we're looking pretty good. I am going to claim credit for that victory, mainly because Jason's not here to argue with me, but also because, man, those real estate stocks did great, didn't they? Innovative Industrial Properties was up like 25%. Prologis was up a bunch too. I think they're about 15%. We had two more stocks that were up double digits. We had one loser out of the whole 10, one stock that didn't gain, but our average beat the markets, and that's what we try and do every month. And we, through me, are back again this month with a new list for you. We're really bullish going into 2024. Personally, I think that real estate still has a lot of recovery to go, especially if we're going to see rate cuts. And I mean, the markets are pricing in like, 4, 5, maybe even 6 rate cuts, basically rate cuts all year going on through the presidential elections, which technically probably shouldn't be happening, but it's a new world, so let's invest for it. I think real estate's going to be really good. We've been positioning the portfolio for the past year or two to take advantage of what was going to come, and so we had to weather some rough times. With pretty much everybody else, markets were down all around, and last year our real estate investments didn't do great. But if you look at Innovative Industrial for a great example, it bottomed out sometime in the spring, sort of bounced along there all summer, and then really just started to take off when people started to bet that rate cuts were coming. And here we are. It's up about 50% since it hit its bottom earlier this year. It was up 25% last month. And it's just a great company, and I'm really just not just bullish on it, but all of our real estate stocks really performed well. Like I said, Prologis, that's one. COPT Properties, that's another. That one did really well. We had a lot of gainers there. But across the board, our portfolio just is performing really well. Markets are performing really well. Everybody's excited about rate cuts. I'll take the gains while they come, but I know that rate cuts, big rate cuts, 5, 6 rate cuts, that comes when the economy's circling the drain. And I really don't want to see that, but I'm going to take the bullishness while I can, and I'm pretty bullish going into the new year. I think people are still excited about this, and they're still betting on it, and they're still going to take the markets higher. The enthusiasm about AI is still building, and honestly, we've been talking about this for a while, so it seems to you guys, it seems like this has been going on forever. But these tools, these things are just finally getting into the hands of everyday people. And that's when the momentum really, really starts to build when you see excitement like this in the market. So there's a lot more coming for AI, I promise you that. We've got some AI investments. We're already benefiting from them. We're already collecting income from our AI toll booth. We've got some good plays in technology. But anyway, that's enough of that. Let's get into the top 10 for January 2024. It's exciting. It's a new year. As you can see, I have my New Year's attire on, my dinner jacket. It's popped up a little bit in the back there. That's embarrassing because I have my microphone on so that you guys can all hear me, since I am obviously also not in the studio today. We're recording this from my home office. So you can see my favorite map up on the wall here, the Mercator projection. It always surprises me how Greenland is bigger than South America. It's crazy. I don't know how that can happen. I love that map. So I got that up on my wall. Just give you guys a little tour of the office here. My picture, I got to meet Shaquille O'Neal a few years ago. That was really great. He's a pretty successful investor, surprisingly, as well as, I mean, not so much surprisingly, but, you know, he's a really great basketball player too. So you don't think that somebody would excel at two things the way he does, but he does. And, you know, we got to meet and share some investment tips, and I got a nice little picture, so I got that up behind me. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it because we've got a great list. Jason in absentia has sent me his top 5 picks for the month. I've got my top 5 picks for the month. As usual, the only thing that's usual really about this, other than the fact that I'm doing it, is that we are going to do, the royal we, are going to do the first 4 picks, and we're going to broadcast that to everybody. We're going to put that up on YouTube, but if you're watching on YouTube, this is a service that we provide for our paying customers, so we're going to cut it off after the first 4, and we're going to reserve the top 6 for them. If you would like to join, though, we're going to put a link to a discounted membership down in the description below the video. We might even be able to get one to pop up. I don't know. That's not my specialty. Stocks are. And that's why you're watching this. But anyway, if you don't want to join, that's okay. We won't hold it against you. We'll continue to put out the first 4 picks for as long as you're willing to watch. And all we ask is that you subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, click the bell, make sure you're notified. And hey, drop us a comment every once in a while. We'd love to hear from you. And if you do want to get a membership, let me tell you, there's a lot more benefits than just the top 10 stocks. You get monthly recommendations. You get access to every report we've ever written, all the research we've ever published, and all the research that we're going to publish going forward. And honestly, it costs you less than you're probably going to spend or than you probably spent, as it were, to go out for New Year's this year. So I highly encourage you to join us. I'm obviously a little bit biased. If you don't, we'll keep putting these out. Just give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and let's go ahead and get into it with that all being said. And I'll give you my first pick for the month, my number 5, our number 10, and it is Albemarle Corporation. You guys are going to see me look off camera every once in a while. I've got some notes up on the side because I usually have them for me in front of me at the studio, so you don't quite notice it as much, but, you know, I'm not quite as technically proficient as our studio managers are. So here we go. Albemarle Corporation, ticker symbol is ALB on this one. It's the largest lithium producer by revenues and volume in the entire world, right? And it's our bet that lithium demand is just going to keep growing. And Albemarle's had kind of like it's an interesting year. You know, it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. Lithium prices have been falling. They peaked somewhere around like $60,000, $70,000, and they dropped. They seem to have found a floor. And, you know, it had a great month, Albemarle did in December. It was up nearly 15%. Like I said, lithium prices seem to have found a floor. I think they're going to start coming up from here. You know, demand is still growing. Supply is growing more slowly. And like Jason has always said, you know, supply comes on in chunks. So you get these big chunks and you see the supply come up like this, whereas the demand is sort of a steady line. And so we really see that continuing. You know, it's still down double digits for the year. So that's the thing, is it's recovered a lot, but it's still got a lot more to go. We really like it for the long term. I don't think that we're going to see this rally, this momentum change too much in 2024, especially early on in the year. So we're going to give it a shot and see if it can get us another 15% in January as my number 5 pick, our number 10 pick. And now I'll pass the microphone off to Mr. Simpkins. I'm just kidding. I'll keep the microphone clipped to me right here, and we'll get to his number 5 pick, our number 9 pick, and that is Lockheed Martin. Everybody loves Lockheed Martin. Ticker symbol is LMT on this one. And so, I mean, basically the war in Ukraine is horrible, but it's also been a showcase for American firepower, and Lockheed Martin has definitely made the most of it. You know, and basically, you know, it's the Javelin anti-tank munitions have pretty much, you know, saved Ukraine's bacon. Like that is what has really kept Ukraine in the fight. You know, they've got these great weapons from American companies like Lockheed Martin. You know, this year it's been the HIMARS missile system, which is the High Mobility Artillery Rocket Systems. Jason, I know you're impressed that I got that one. And they really stole the show. You know, so they just pack a lot of punch, a good amount of range. You know, it's resulted in a lot of high-profile strikes on Russian targets, and the world's taken notice. So other countries are placing orders for this now. Italy's placed an order recently. Who else has placed an order? It's giving new demonstrations to Germany, which has donated many of its aging missiles to Ukraine, so it needs to rebuild its stockpile. So all this stuff is really good for Lockheed Martin. It's talking to more than 20 European countries about its HIMARS missiles and its other missile launcher systems, and we think it's going to give you a good gain in January. So it is our number 9 pick, Jason's number 5 pick. Jason Simpkins is number 5 pick, not Jason Williams is number 5 pick, because you already got that one. And that, my friends, brings me to Jason Williams's number 4 pick, right? Our number 8 pick overall, which is Freeport-McMoRan, our favorite copper stock. These guys are one of the biggest copper miners in the world. They also had a great month in December, also up about 15%. Before I forget, their ticker symbol is FCX. I don't have my handy board to write it on, but hopefully my producers can put it up somewhere over here in the space that I've given them. Anyway, so Freeport's had a really interesting year. It's basically finishing the year flat, right? It was up solid double digits earlier on. It's finishing the year about flat. But this is, despite being told all year that China's not growing, demand for copper's falling, recession's coming, copper prices are going to drop. And copper prices did drop. They dropped in anticipation because people were pricing in all of that bad news, but the bad news didn't come. I mean, it sort of did. China's having a much slower recovery than everybody expected. And copper prices did drop, and Freeport, was pretty volatile this year. But despite all of that, we're still at least breaking even on that. We've had some really good gains out of it. It's been a top 10 stock that's given us double digits a couple times the past year. I think it's going to do it again this year. Look, copper is just the lifeblood of electricity, right? And at least half of the world is trying to go all electric within the next few years. We're in 2024 and people are talking 2025, 2030. That's like tomorrow. That's not far away. And we need copper. And the thing is copper is not very expensive. It's not very profitable right now. And so people aren't really out there looking for it. But we're going to need a lot more of it. We're basically going to need another Freeport-McMoRan sized company in the next 10 years. And it took 80 years to grow Freeport to this size. So, we need to accelerate that timeline a lot. And honestly, I'm of the opinion that when, the stuff really hits the fan, that you're going to need binoculars to see copper prices, and so I want us all to have exposure. I think it's going to grow. I think the demand is going to continue to grow over the next few years. We're going to hit that. We're going to hit that point where we're demanding more copper than we can supply, and that's when the prices really take off. That's going to be huge for Freeport. In the meantime, we're going to keep building a position, and we're going to see if it can give us another, double-digit gain in January. So it's getting a spot to start the new year as my number 4 pick, our number 8 pick. And that brings me to the last pick for the YouTube subscribers, and that is Jason's number 4 pick. Jason Simpkins' number 4 pick. I know this is getting confusing, guys. It's getting a little confusing for me, but it's totally worth it because this is a great list, and this is a great pick. And Jason Simpkins has picked Northrop Grumman as his number 4. Our number, what's that make it? 8? No. We're at 10, 9, 8, 7. Our number 7. 8 was the last one, my number 4. I'll get this, guys. It's different, I'm a little bit better when I'm in the studio, I think. But anyway, Northrop Grumman, ticker symbol NOC, our number 7 pick. Jason Simpkins' number 4 pick. Too many numbers right there. Anyway, one of the main appeals of AI technology is its ability to comb through and correlate data, right? That's a big deal for a department like the Defense Intelligence Agency, right? So it's tasked, in case you guys are unfamiliar, which I was until Jason informed me, with keeping tabs on foreign militaries. And that is a big contractor for Northrop Grumman, which just landed a $700 million deal for Project Neptune, which is a, somewhat secret. We know about it, but we don't know all the details of it. Defense Intelligence Agency program to collect and analyze data, right? So the program's aiming to accelerate the delivery of intelligence to the agency's personnel, but no other specifics were released because it's a secret program. Still, it'll feed Northrop a steady stream of revenue for the next 9 years, and that's pretty great. And so that's going to give the company, it's going to give it more busy work as it revamps the entire missile defense system here for the U.S. So we see lots of gains coming in the long term, and we think that it can deliver some in the short term, and we're giving it a spot as Mr. Simpkins is number 4, our number 7. I got it right. What do you think about that? And that, folks, is our first 4. I'll go ahead and recap real quick. We've got Albemarle Corporation, the biggest lithium miner in the world. We're betting on continued lithium demand growth and lithium prices continuing to go up. Next up, Lockheed Martin. The Javelin anti-tank missiles were the star of 2022, 2023. The HIMARS stole the show. Lots of people are ordering them. They're talking to like 20 European countries. We see lots of growth coming. Next up, we have Freeport-McMoRan. Copper. All right, guys, we are coming up on a shortage. I think that after what I told you about real estate, we're not going to catch the bottom of anything here. And honestly, we may have already seen the bottom pass with copper prices, but copper is going to get more expensive. Freeport-McMoRan makes it. We're going to make money by investing in Freeport. And finally, at number 7, Northrop Grumman for its huge contract with the Defense Intelligence Agency. That's going to provide some serious long-term growth, and it should give it a little bit of short-term momentum as well. So there you have it. Those are our first 4 for the month of January. And now, once again, for those of you on YouTube, we're going to go ahead and cut it off. Thank you, as always, for watching. I highly encourage you to subscribe, get a membership, get the rest of the picks, get all of the other things that come with membership. I think literally any wealth advisory member would tell you that it has been well worth the cost of being a member of our community. If you don't want to, that's okay. Like I said, we'll keep making these as long as you want to watch them. Just subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, pass it on to your friends, tell everybody else about it, and we'll see you next month. So Happy New Year and take care.